What's up, Tim? We got Tim McKone from 98.5 The Sports. This is the most professional operation you could possibly imagine.
Oh, yeah.
We had 5 mics earlier and had 0 audio.
There you go.
So
yes.
More mics, less audio.
I love it.
How you doing, man? How you been?
This is awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. This is cool. Cool event.
Yeah. We're trying to raise money. We're selling again. Keep reminding people we're selling raffles for Boston Children's Hospital program. Everyone go buy tickets. As many tickets as you can. It all goes to charity. So, we appreciate you coming down. How'd you feel about practice today?
They look great. They look great. I know I'm the optimist on our show, and our show is more optimistic than certainly 2 to 6s, no doubt. But they look good these last 2 days. And the wide receivers, I was talking with Alex Barth as I was walking out. It feels like Doubs over the last week has really made sort of a leap as well. And then A.J. Brown is A.J. Brown. And so, yeah, I mean, you have reason to be excited right now if you're a Patriots fan for sure.
Do we think we saw a better day out of Doubs today because it was red zone day and Doubs is an absolute goal line? Most of his touchdowns last year came from within the 5-yard line.
It's a great call. Yeah, absolutely. And Zoe mentioned it as well. It felt like he was comfortable in the red zone today too. He's also, this is, again, do a little research, Tim. Fair enough, but he's a lot bigger than what you think he's going to be. The first time you see him, he's a big dude.
When we signed him, I thought he was small.
Yes,
for some reason.
I did too. And he's
the guardian.
Yeah, right. He's not. He's a big guy, and so again, him with A.J. Brown. Like I just look at the leap that the offense I expect to make this year. I think it's monumental. I think it's going to be 90 days what we saw last year.
One of the things I don't think people understand is second year in the same system for Drake Maye with Josh McDaniels. And then the upgraded weapons, A.J. Brown, the attention that he brings, right? We saw it. I mean, he's the superstar of the camp. Let's face it. And then you have, like you said, these Romeo Doubs, these other guys. It's just going to elevate their game. What's the ceiling for us this year?
Look, year 2 in the system, like you said, with Josh McDaniels. The Mac Jones transition from Josh McDaniels to Matt Patricia didn't work out great. I don't know if you guys picked up on that or not. So I do think some continuity there with the offensive coordinator is going to be a huge difference. And I'm a huge believer in Drake Maye too. I think he's an absolute stud. So you pair him with the receivers they have, the same offensive coordinator. I think you're looking at one of the best offenses in football. I really do. I believe it.
I have 2 names that I want to throw out there and just hear your thoughts on.
Don't pull a Barth on me. Make sure these are like blockbuster names and not some like 89th or 90th guy on the roster.
I do appreciate Barth's attention to hang time and all that. That is right up my alley. But these 2 names, I think you'll know both of these names. I'll start off with the undrafted rookie, Khalil Jacobs. I feel like Khalil Jacobs has a legitimate shot, at least to flirt with making this roster. He does have 2 veterans in front of him, Muma and Britt. But what have you seen from Khalil Jacobs? Does he have a roster shot here?
Well, I don't know. Muma hasn't exactly played well so far throughout camp, too. So I think that's certainly something to keep an eye on when we talk about how this roster is going to shake out. I think we're certainly expecting a little bit more from him that really hasn't happened yet. So, yeah, I think that's certainly a play.
The second name is Kayron Prunty, draft pick, cornerback. And they have a depth battle, I would say, going on at cornerback right now. We saw Woods take a lot of the snaps in Gonzo's absence. We didn't see that today. We saw Vildor take those snaps. Do you think Kayron Prunty has a chance of sneaking into this roster?
Part of me feels like you were listening in on me and Barth's conversation.
I absolutely was not.
Here because we were talking about the cornerback depth as well, being sort of one of the questions for me throughout this whole roster is as talented as they are, what's the depth like if there are some injuries? And corner is certainly one of those spots that you have questions about. So, yeah, I think you can make an impact there. It could be a difference for sure.
Let me bring in a name that people might be even more familiar with than Prunty or something. Let's bring up Christian Gonzalez because I think we've been through. How long have we been doing this for now? Maybe an hour. We haven't mentioned the name of Christian Gonzalez at any point during this time. So, how are you feeling about the contract situation? Is this my theory again? He did get injured, but he's using this as a mini holdout right now to negotiate, obviously. So, how do you feel like the status of the contract is going right now?
I think you nailed it. I think he might have gotten dinged up during that practice. But you're not going to rush back from that injury right now if you still have contract concerns. So I think that's absolutely kind of what's going on. I would have thought the Witherspoon thing would have made this a little bit easier. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest, that we're this far into the week and we haven't seen even a report about this thing kind of coming together or starting to come together. That makes me a little bit nervous, but I have to imagine with the bar being set the way that it is, with that agent being involved with Witherspoon too, I don't think there's an unreasonable ask from the Gonzalez camp, because I think if you're that agent and you go negotiate a deal for Christian Gonzalez that blows the Witherspoon deal out of the water, isn't Witherspoon then turning around to the agent and saying, how the hell did you not get me that deal? So I don't think it's an unreasonable ask on the Gonzalez side. I would have thought that this would have gotten done by now, or we just would have gotten a little bit more movement.
What do you think so? I heard some criticism earlier. Patsborough was talking about it. The offensive line today seemed like it was a little sluggish. And some of these plays, players are pulling back and they're holding off because they're about to hit Drake Maye. What do you think about the offensive line?
I think Will Campbell's had a really good camp so far. Just talking to people who were watching a little bit more closely than we were, obviously, because we're doing the show. It sounds like Will Campbell didn't have the day that he's had in the past, but still an effective day, and I think that's what you're looking for. I hope if he's a top 15 tackle, a left tackle in the league, I think you're doing all right. And then if Aaron Tucker can stay healthy throughout the season, I think the offensive line is going to be much improved.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously Will Campbell. There's always a lot of dialogue around Will Campbell. For whatever reason, it's
just a bit
real talk. I don't know why everyone needs to freak out about Will Campbell. He's had a great camp, but again, it's always the problem when he gets against bigger competition, like against Myles Garrett in the postseason after his injury.
Yes.
He hasn't held up his well against higher competition. So. Is there any doubts in your mind that he's going to do a better job this year?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, yeah. I got to see it. Yes, exactly. No, yes, I have to see it. I'm hopeful. I do think the injury was a huge part of that. I think Drake Maye and Will Campbell both being banged up in the postseason sort of led to – I'm not saying Seattle wasn't the better team they were, but I think that showing in large part was because both of those guys were hurt. So I do expect a much better Will Campbell. I just – truthfully, I don't know what that ceiling looks like for him. I have to see it in the regular season.
How can we not say the injury was a major part of it? And if you fail against Myles Garrett, I don't know if I'm going to beat you about that too much.
Let me bring this up really quick because this drives me crazy. I've said this point 100 times. Everyone talks about when you mentioned Vidarian Law, he was in the postseason. He was fucking injured. They shouldn't have played him. They shouldn't have played him.
Campbell was injured. They should have played him.
Campbell was injured. He was not right. He's not on the injury report. He's not right. Couldn't anchor, couldn't support himself. Would they have not been better off to play Vidarian Lowe throughout the postseason?
That's a real second guess. I'm not saying Vidarian Lowe is Jonathan Ogden or Orlando Pace by any stretch, but you did not get exposed in those games that Will Campbell missed towards the end of the season. So, no, I think that's a fair second guess.
I was saying on the podcast before the Super Bowl, I said, is this crazy talk or is Vidarian Lowe and Ben Brown a better starting left side of the line? And honestly, it wasn't crazy.
No, it wasn't crazy. No, you're right. You're right.
At least in the second half. That's what I was the most surprised about. Is you saw enough, hadn't you? When do you, and then never to make the switch, and then to hear after the Super Bowl that the amount of rehab that Campbell had to do. Well, if you're rehabbing that hard, you must have been hurt during the Super Bowl. Your coach had to know it. So we'll beat players up for not playing hurt. So are we going to beat a player up from playing hurt? No, but I think I want to bring it to the coach. Coach, why did you play
It's a brutal spot to put your rookie on that stage, by the way, knowing that he's not 100% to kind of get teed off on the way that he did. And then I'm just from a mental perspective, too. I'm mentally soft, so I'm probably a little bit different than an NFL player is. But, that would rattle me to get exposed the way that he did, in large part because of that injury.
He was rattled.
Yes.
He dodged right out of there after the Super Bowl. He eventually spoke to the media, but he didn't want to talk about that performance after that game.
Yeah.
I think as far as watching A.J. Brown, we talk about A.J. Brown obviously a lot. The amount of juice he brings to practice, and juice to the wide receiver room, how palatable is it for you noticing throughout camp even?
It's real. I mean, last year with Stephon Diggs, you noticed the difference. And again, that's a low bar. We're talking about KJ Osborne and the wide receiving core that you had 2 years before that, right? But with Stephon Diggs, you noticed the difference last year, and I feel like this year with A.J. Brown, Doubs, and just the depth at wide receiver right now, that whole group looks completely different. They've done an unbelievable job in terms of remaking that room to where they are right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, it's such a far cry from 2024 in the Mayo season.
That's what I'm saying. I think we looked back. I think it was KJ Osborne, Pope, Baker. Was Tyquan Thornton still there? I think he might have been, right? What a group. Awesome, yeah. No.
We thank you for coming on, Taylor.
No, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. This is awesome.
And thanks for bringing attention to it. Again, we're trying to raise money, Boston Children's Hospital, as much as we can. So we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. Awesome.